Hello, beloved. How's everyone doing today? Welcome, subscribers. Thank you, new subscribers, for following and resonating with our message. We appreciate you. If you know of anyone else that's resonating with our message, family or friends, please don't hesitate to invite them to our channel. Let them have the opportunity to listen to the message. Support the message. Go get the book, Matriarch the Patriarch, The Black Woman God. I talk a lot about the historical, spiritual history of Black women, the political influence that we had in the world, the spiritual structure that comes, religion comes from. I talk about that. And today I want to talk about it again because I don't think you understand, Black woman. When I'm talking about sacred power, I talked about sacerdotal power, but you need to understand what your sacred power is and how it functions. It's it it's unquestionable. It's unquestionable, and it's time for us to start. It's time for you to start moving like that, walking away from these churches, walking away from these politics, and focusing on you. Get serious about focusing on us and what we bring, the power that we bring, how much support we bring that give away that don't have anything to do with us and they don't look like us. We need to be pouring this power back in ourselves. What is sacred power and how does it look? How can we get our sacred power? How can we grasp it? What does it look like to grasp that sacred power? Let's talk about it because I want to talk about it right here and now. I want you to understand who you are, exactly who you are, what your capabilities are, and what kind of power you're tapping into. Okay, I want this because I really because I don't want us to keep making the same mistake. I'm tired of us making the same mistake. I'm tired of it. Are you tired of it? So many of our mothers, didn't have the power, didn't have the strength or the courage to stand and do something different. But we can do it. We can do it right now. We can do something different right now. First of all, let's understand sacred power. What is it? It is our divine sovereignty that belongs to us, that comes to us by our ancient mothers. Our ancient mothers used their divine spiritual authority for millennia, seeking guidance for the highest good of all humanity. You can see this through the Sibyls. They were the first high priestess. They were the first pope. Where you see the popes and the priests are now, these were women positions. Okay? The men learned from the women. Look at what they got on. Look at what they wear. The men learn from the women. You understand? The women learn from the women. Her words have proven accuracy since the beginning of the time. This power, insight, this force was boundless. Look at her. She was the first high priestess. She sat on the throne. There was no pope. It was her. That was her position. That was your ancient mother's position, and so is it yours. You have a cosmogenetic link. And we look at our ancient mother, our cosmogenetic link means that she is everything and everything is her. Her entire essence, your entire essence, pertain to the cosmos, dealing with the origin and the history and structure and dynamics of the universe. She is the cosmic mother where all things begin. Women cosmic link to the universe can be observed through our moon cycles, aka menstrual cycles. Grandmother Moon has a special relationship with the waters on Earth. He controls the ebb and flow of water according to the cycles of the moon. Women share a special connection with Grandmother Moon. Some call our menstrual cycle our moon time. This is because as the moon regulates the water, she regulates women's bodies. We have a distinct connection with Mother Earth. Men do not have this type of connection with Mother Earth. Men cannot sit down and talk about how their body is affected by the moon. This is where our intuition comes in it. This is where our cosmogenetic link comes in it. You cannot break it. In fact, you can put about 4 or 5 women in the same room for about 3 months. They'll probably be on the same cycle. I know sometimes one of my daughters used to make me start my cycle. Isn't it something that moon cycle, that vibration is so intense that you can make another woman start her cycle? Yes. I know some of you have experienced that when you've had a cycle out of nowhere, and maybe your friend or someone close to you is having a cycle. The vibration is shift, and you're just thrown off like, what is going on? Okay, well, this is our cycle. This is your connection, Black woman. This is you. You the first woman. This is your first connection. Okay, we're linked with the moon. We link with the water, and even our wombs are a mimic of that. Okay. Know who you are now. You need to get it together and find out who you are, beloved. Know who you are. This is your sacred power. And this you can link this back scientifically. Know who you are. I'm showing you this so you will know your power, beloved. This is your power. This is not a bad thing. In fact, when you're on your moon cycle, you are more sensitive. You are more intuitive. See, that's why they try to deem it as something negative in the Bible. No, it's actually one of your superpower. It helps you create. It is the seed to all your creation. Women are responsible for the entire organism called human. Okay? The mother supplies the necessary tissue to create the body that is made of matter, aka mother. Maternal. Where do you think they get that from? They got that from you. Matter, mother. Father is not even connected like that. You can't find a divine name like that for father, a paternal. You're going to only be able to find that for mother. Everything on earth can be traced back to the molecules called matter, aka mother. The mitochondrial Eve is the matrilineal most recent common ancestor of all living humans. In other words, she is defined as the most recent woman from whom all living humans descended in an unbroken line purely through their mothers and through the mother of those mothers back into all lines converge on one woman. Isn't that miraculous? Scientifically, the Black woman is the only organism that possesses the mitochondrial DNA that has all variations possible for every different kind of human being on this earth. When the DNA of Black woman mutates, all other types of human beings come about. You see, she provides the material. You get to sit in the mother's womb while she provides the material, the matter for you to come into physical form. It's a very miraculous process if you really sit down and think about this in these terms. How much the mother provides and how much she's been providing, still providing. The most prominent connection between Mother Earth and indigenous women is the power to create and give life. You see this in nature too. Who are the animals following in nature? Are they following their mama or are they following their daddy? Who teach them, their mama or their daddy? Watch the animals in nature. You come back and you tell me who's teaching who and who are the animals following. Women hold the power of the creator, the innate power to bring life into the world. For our ancestors, the embodiment of the divine feminine was earth itself. Okay? This was this again, women understand this. I needed you to get out, don't get it to be that I don't want to hurt his feelings. This ain't about his feelings. This is nature. Okay, I was talking about this last night on open mic, and I can see this little guy getting he was all in his ego about it. I mean, this patriarchy really got some of these men messed up. It's got some of the women messed up too. I see that too. The ancients, who had more direct contact and greater relationship with nature, viewed the earth as a gigantic female being who gives birth and continuously creates life. They observed and witnessed the plants and animals being born on Earth's surface, multiplying. Feminine energy in all creation and all the animal kingdom shares this power. Okay? They're seeing it in nature. They're seeing who's following who's doing what. It was the females in nature. Indigenous women are intrinsically connected with non-human world, the earth, the waters, and all other than human life forms that live on Mother Earth. Women in many indigenous societies are the matriarchs of each community, connected to the land, the animals, the water, and all the people, the earth. Mother Earth is inherently feminine in her creation and development of life, both human and non-human. Water is also feminine as the lifeblood of the planet. It sustains life just as human women do in their communities. Okay? This was understood in the ancient world. This is what our ancestors observed. And you can go out in nature, spend time in nature. This is what you're going to see. Okay? You're going to see most of the animals are going to be following the mother. Who's going to be doing the teaching? The mother. You can see this in nature. In many ancient societies, the nurturing nature of divine feminine was associated with the concept of the fertility creation and took the shape of the great mother goddess. We find the goddess religion in many parts of the ancient world long before the patriarchal religion took over. You see here, you're not going to see any phallics, in the ancient world like this. You're not going to see that. You don't see that till much, much later that these phallics come on the scene. And it looked like somebody learning from somebody. Look like they learning from us. So they creating these phallics of themselves. They come on the scene. They seeing this stuff. They're seeing this stuff being created, so they create their stuff. Okay, you have the patriarch building on top of this, building on top of our ancient practices and our sciences as well, because it is our science. We were the one having this relationship with the herbs, with the land, with the plants. Okay. Societies were structured and operated around these goddess religions, and they were ruled by a collective of priestesses who were promoted to ritual, who were assigned to ritual. One of the oldest representations of the female form is known as Venus Willendorf, and it is estimated to have been made in the Paleolithic times between 25,000 20,000 BCE. The sculpture is relatively small in size, about 4.3 inches tall, and it depicts a voluptuous, faceless female figure with large breasts, a stomach that overhangs over an emphasized pubic area. This figure is most definitely associated with the concept of fertility, pregnancy, and birth. It is the monastic great goddess, with all other goddesses of all cultures worldwide seen as aspect of this goddess, and a focus on the egalitarian matriarchy. And see what I tell you, we're gonna find out later too, which they're uncovering in South America in the Guatemala area. They're talking about this underground city here, and they've been known that it was there. Some artifacts was being retrieved there in that area for quite some time, but that's another discussion. But they're admitting that, hey, yeah, it is there. But see, the big smoking gun here is they don't want to tell us that all this was, again, all connected to this matriarch culture, that Egypt was an empire. Not only was Egypt an empire, this so-called Egypt thing was an empire. Not only that, but it was ran by women. It was ran by women, and she had fierce generals that protected her. At all costs, protect the queen, and they did that. Um, yeah, that is a story for another day. But I'm working on the unveiling. I think that I think I'm gonna be talking about that in another video. It deserves to be talked about. But you see these artifacts all over the ancient world. Therefore, we can see evidence of goddess worship very present in the ancient world. Goddess worship played a vital role in the complex agricultural societies. See, these were hunter-gatherer societies. Female deities have been variously linked to the fertility of crops, the sovereignty, the protection of herbal ceremonial centers. Isis was at the center of goddess worship that spread far beyond the Egypt boundaries. Isis was one of the most important goddesses of ancient Egypt. She was the great magician, queen of angels. She is the first angel that you see. She is the most ancient angel that you see. In fact, I think this very term comes from her and her high priestess. I really believe that. She's also called the Queen of Heaven, whose power transcended that of all other deities. As mourner, she was instrumental in the rites connected with the dead. As a healer, she cured the sick and brought the dead to life. And as a mother, she was a role model for all. The worship of Egyptian goddess Isis dates back as far as 2500 BC and extended into the 5th century. I talk about that in my book, Matriarch the Patriarch. I talk about it a little bit in my book too, when she was the first sun god. She was worshipped as a sun god too, and before the patriarchs came in and started building on top of her temples as well. That's in my book, Christ Consciousness. But yes, and then they go into the 5th century, and then when the 5th century comes in, this is they're declared pagan or Hellenistic, and you see the witch hunts begin. And like I say, there was a war on black woman, dark-skinned woman. What you think that story was Medusa? It was about what you think these witch hunts was about. Why do you think they were killing these women? Okay, why do you think that they were doing this? They were stomping this out to bring in this patriarch, this Christianity culture here. The Romans were aware of the cult's existence, but it was frowned upon by many of the ruling class. The Emperor Augustus decreed that the worship of Isis was forbidden as part of the attempt to return Rome to Roman gods. So they were very much against this worship. They did not want it there. Okay, the patriarchs wanted to bring in their own stuff, and that's what this is about. And a lot of the priests, they were against it because they knew the value of the old ways. They were connected to Maat. They were connected to the ancestors of that time, and they knew that this spiritual practice was definitely yielding good results for them. And that's a big thing. That there was a big argument, at the Council of Nicaea and Constantine. A lot of priests were killed, died during that time when these changes happened. For some Roman worshippers, Isis was absorbed into other goddess groups which held rites in honor of their goddess mother goddess. The cult of Isis moved as far as ancient Greece and was known as the mystery, my story. So you hear that mystery, my story, her story, or heritage tradition among the Hellenistic, aka pagans, of agriculture and fertility of crops. Neolithic goddesses were part of the single cult complex spread across Europe, Middle East, whether they represent different traditions entirely. In some places, they are associated with ancestor worship, death, and the afterlife. In others, they are related to the emergence of agriculture and the fertility crops. So you see them here. You can see a little bit of this in goddess Yoruba mythology, or Yoruba Pantheon, I would like to say. You'll see these goddesses come up as well, different forms of her. What's her name? She talked about that in her book, Mama Zogby, when she talked about the Sibyls, and she talked about Mama Wati, and you can see different parts of Mama Wati and these different goddesses. And you can see, in fact, if you go back further enough into the Egyptian Pantheon, you will see Mama Wati there as, what is she? She was called by something else. She's called by something else, but it is her most ancient form. It's the most mother's ancient form of name. It was the first name given to the first mother in that Pantheon, Egyptian Pantheon. As it got older, the name changed. And again, Isis is a title. Again, that's a priestess title. It's a priestess title that embodies the divine energy. So it's not so much as a person, then it's much of as a title as well. But I see that that energy has been, that Pantheon is very, very ancient, and it's very, very old. Again, the patriarchs, they built on top of it. And then you see this goddess worship. You'll see it in the European culture as well. You would see it in a lot of different culture. It became culturized, and people kind of took it that way. And it just stayed alive. And it just stayed alive to this very day, in every form. Even here, you see right here, she didn't die. They tried to wipe her out, but people insisted on having a goddess. And so now they had to transform it into this. But why not leave it the way it was the first time? Nothing was wrong. You went through all this stuff trying to change stuff and murder people and kill people to just do the very thing that you were trying not to do. She was later assimilated with Hathor, another goddess of fertility, and is often depicted nursing her son. And many strongly believe that this is the image that served the inspiration for the classic Christian portrait of Madonna and Child. You think? Again, you got patriarchs building up on the matriarch religion. They could not stop that, because everything they learned from their mama. And now you got this man coming in here and saying, no, I'm the daddy, you learned everything from me. But see, you couldn't even stamp this out, because this was etched in the hearts and minds, in the DNA of people, because they recognized who was the ancient mother, and that stayed with them. Even this image, transferring this image, people may not know what it is, but they resonate with it because of that ancient connection. Okay, they still resonate with it because that was etched, that came from the first mother. So, but naturally, they're gonna still resonate with that. They tried to get rid of it, but again, they did all this for nothing. It just seems senseless to wipe these people out and then build on top of what was already there. And not only do you build on top of it, you went even further and you whitewashed it. Okay, so we have the patriarchs, the dark patriarchs coming in, building on it. And then after that, we have the white patriarchs coming in, whitewashing it after it's been built on. It's, our spirituality and our history has been stamped on, and so many times, women, you can't even imagine. That's why I get so passionate about this. I get so upset. I can get on my soapbox sometime, and I get so passionate about this because I can get really ticked off because of the measures they have went through to keep this quiet, and then the measures they go through to keep women subordinate, especially women of color. It's time for us to stop this. I mean, I'm tired of it, women. I need you to understand who you are. I mean that. I'm downright tired of it. Something's got to change. It's going to take you to do it. The new generation, y'all going to have to do it. But I need you to understand who you are and what your sacred power is and what you need to do with it. Stop giving it away. Please understand who you are, beloved. Please. A number of contemporary pagan traditions have adopted the Isis as their patron goddess, and she is often found in the Dianic Wicca. This goddess circle is focused on women empowerment, leadership by women who may be ordained as priestess or in less formal groups that function as collectives. While some adherents identify as Wiccan, it differs from the tradition of Wicca in that only the goddess are honored, whereas most Wiccan traditions honor both female and male deities. And this is what I'm talking about. This is where your sacred power comes in, beloved. It is time for us to start walking away from these religions, these churches, and these politics, and creating these small groups that are goddess focused and focused on the empowerment of women and leadership. Yes, these little small goddess circles. These small little goddess, whether it's Oshun, Isis, whatever the goddess may be. It is time to bring and call on that divine feminine energy, in which essence that you want to call her on, that is up to you in your group. But it is time to call on our own essence, on deities that look just like us. It's time for us to call on them and do some shifting, beloved. It is time to find out who they are and how they can help us shift our reality and create the world that we want to see. Change our experiences, beloved. Sociological studies have shown that there is therapeutic value inherent in Dianic ritual, healing rituals to overcome personal trauma and raise awareness about violence against women have earned comparison to the female-centered conscious raising groups of the 60s and 70s. Collaboration, community care, harmony, oneness, inclusion. These are the ways of the Divine Mother, beloved. We are living in one of the most powerful shifts humanity has ever gone through. A shift that is calling us into a new ways of treating and seeing each other, beloved. We can see each other as goddesses, sisters, priestess, wise women, chieftess. We get to redefine that. Men don't get to tell us who we are. The preacher don't get a chance to tell us who we are. We get a chance to own our own sacred power. This is the sacred power I'm talking about right here. You are the chieftess. You are the goddess. You are the priestess. You are the wise women and the elders. You are that. You are the shaman woman. You are the mother crone. You are that, beloved. You've earned that. We need more spaces for healing, development, growth for Black women. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally, economically, we should be coming together with these groups, building, having partnerships, tighter bonds, building with each other. This is what we need. This is sacred power, walking away from the politics, creating our own political structure, creating our own spiritual structures. We're the priestess, we're the goddess, we're the wise women. We ordained, we ordained who we want in as a leader, a spiritual leader. Yes, we are doing this. We're taking back our positions that were taken from us. We create our own institution, beloved. This is sacred power. This is what I'm talking about. And we can do it. That's what it's going to take. And Black men it's going to really, the only thing you can do is support us in that. We need Black men that's going to be supporting us to have these institutions and development of women. That's all we need you to do. If you're not willing to do that, I mean, just move out the way. I mean, you just don't mean us no good. Because we trying to get back what was lost. That's what we trying to do. We don't got time to be playing with nobody. We ain't got time for that. No, we do not. We do not have time for that. But this is what we need right here. We need community. We need union. We need Black women uplifting Black women. We need to be in those spaces and have those spiritual authorities and positions where we're doing some prayer and rituals. Get these books. Go get Jambalaya. You know, there's many other books out there that can help you with doing simple little rituals. Some meditation ceremonies. You know, get that jumping. We need to be doing something, you know, getting that, really tapping into our sacred power, beloved. I can't emphasize this enough. Doing our shadow work together. Coming to work, doing our shadow work, doing that healing work together. It yields great results. We can really get to the bottom of some things. They ain't doing that in church. This is what we need to be doing. Sacred work, sacred power, tapping into that. Something happens with 2 or 3 are gathered, we can tap into the divine feminine power and we can see shifts and changes. Separation, competition, hierarchy, patriarchy, domination. These are crumbling foundational elements of the old governments, corporation, markets, and ways. It just, you know, it ain't doing no good no more. It doesn't even work anymore. And please, if you start a group, this is no place for no competition, no separation, trying to compete with each other. No, we're trying to build with each other. We're trying to heal together. That's what we're trying to do. You know, women, let's stop competing with each other, you know, looking at each other sideways and shading each other. Let's stop that. It's time to build. It's time to build and heal. That's what it's time to do. We ain't got time for that. We've been focused on that too long. Patriarchy and got us crazy. We on the dark triad of narcissism, and we about crazy, drinking the crazy Kool-Aid of these programs that they done gave us. Time to get up out of that. We don't got time for that. Okay? These elements represent an old paradigm, no longer sustainable as we rise in our consciousness, vibration, and pace as a planet and species. We do not have time for that. Please, enough with the foolishness. It's enough with that. Men have done enough. Patriarchy has done enough. We don't need to abuse the same stuff to try to. It don't work like that. So if you're not planning on healing and building, Don't come up in no circle. Don't even create a circle because it's not going to go in nowhere. I'm trying to, oh gosh, know your sacred power. This is our sacred power. We don't want it tainted. We don't want it tainted with any of those old programming. Okay? We have the opportunity to unveil a rich tapestry of history, revealing the ancient legacy of matriarchy that has often been overshadowed. By embracing the profound spiritual practices that sustain civilizations for millennia, women can reconnect with their innate divinity, liberating themselves from restrictive narratives. Women hold the key to restoring balance and healing the world. Let the exploration of sacred knowledge power, the sacred knowledge empower women to reclaim their rightful place as bearers of ancient wisdom, fostering harmony with Mother Earth and transcending the imbalance of the past. We have the power to do that now. We have the power to come together and use our sacred power to put things back into balance, to bring unity in our community, to bring wealth and abundance back into the hands and back into our own hands. We have the power to do that just by eliminating some of the ways we focus our time and energy on these energy and politics, and start using that attention to build and to heal. It all starts with you. This is your sacred power. It's going to come from these sacred circles. And it's going to come from you ordaining each other in these positions, trusting each other in these positions to heal our communities. We have to do it together. We've been doing this since the beginning of time, Black woman. You know, learn some simple rituals. And like I said, we can use this Dianic structure, spiritual structure in doing it, where we can create our own rituals, or we can read up on these. We have plenty of books where we can read up on these structured rituals and ceremonies and start having them in our homes, having a place where we can do it, or creating our own spiritual institutions, and which is a very good idea. But it's time to start putting the patriarchs out of business, beloved. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it was insightful and it inspired you, because I really need you to understand who you are and what your sacred power is, and the power that you have in this world, Black woman. We are supporting a lot of these institutions that do not deserve our money, and we are the main supporters of these institutions. And we can use that sacred power and put it back within ourselves. These are the positions that we were supposed to be put in the beginning anyway. Men were never supposed to be put in these spiritual positions. It was not their position, not in this way. I hope it inspired you, beloved. Go out and get the book, Matriarch to Patriarch. Understand your story. Your sacred power, it begins with you. Start with these small little women's circles. You are the priestess. You are the empress. You are the wise woman. You are the shaman. You are the chieftess. Give ourselves leadership in these small communities, whether it's secretary or treasurer, whatever it is. We need to start creating these institutions within our communities and investing and empowering Black women. Thank you for being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Light, love, namaste, Ashe, loved one.